Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to talk through, according to Reddit, you only need 5 bourbons.
Yeah, so this is kind of an older video that I guess everybody else did before we were kind of...
A video?
A channel.
A channel?
I think a channel. So we kind of thought, hey, why not go ahead and do one ourselves?
Yeah,
so,
might as well.
You know, have a little fun with it and see what our opinions are on it. So,
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. But before we start, though, go ahead and hit that little like button over there and then subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook. And so that way you can see future videos, content, and everything else. Because apparently, if we don't say this before we kind of do everything, then most people kind of tail off and click off the video at the end. So, yeah.
We want to make sure you get your every opportunity to subscribe to our channel. So
every sub counts.
Every single
sub counts.
Every sub counts. It does. For sure. So we're just going to jump into it. So the first bourbon that, according to Reddit, that we need is a daily drinker.
Yes, and this should be your go-to every day, to where you can literally, once you run out, you can literally drive to the store and pick it up on the shelf.
Yeah. So for me, that daily drinker happens to be, and we've talked about it before on this channel, and we'll continue to talk about it because we are fans of Yellowstone.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Yellowstone Select 93 proofer, just a good go-to bourbon that you can always have on your shelf.
Yep. It's a great, easy 93 proofer. Doesn't matter about weather. Outside, it could be scorching hot or cool outside. It's a fantastic bourbon.
And you can mix it. You can drink it neat. You can drink it on ice. You can put it in a cocktail.
Yep.
All those things. And it just drinks really well.
Yep. And I think this was also on your daily drinker. Wasn't this one of yours?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Always good.
For me, I went with Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Now, literally, if you've been drinking bourbon for a while, Wild Turkey probably makes somewhere between a metric crap ton of this, where they literally bottle it and produce it and send it out every single day.
Every single day.
And it's great. I think it's one of the best bottles on the market. It doesn't matter if it's allocated, it doesn't matter on price. I literally think this is one of the best bottles on the market. Comes in at I think it's like 116.8. And you can find it not only everywhere, but it doesn't drink like a 116.
No, never
drinks
does.
A lot less than that.
It drinks less than that for sure.
It is awesome. It's amazing.
It's awesome. So those are our daily drinkers that, according to Reddit, we need. The second category is you need a bourbon to impress your guests.
Yeah.
And so it's something maybe fancy, but not too fancy. Something that maybe, I don't know what price range it is, but...
Sure. Well, I think somebody who is either new-ish to bourbon or is, been around bourbon for a shorter period of time, be like, oh, you have one of those? That's great. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. Dave's cheating on this one, but it's cool. It's whatever.
I love to cheat. So, for me, the Impress, it's not too fancy because it really is about a $75 bourbon. When it boils down to it.
Well, yeah, buying it at the distillery. That's what it is. Yeah, sure.
I mean, obviously, secondary. Everything that we do on secondary is going to be a little bit more. But for me, and we haven't talked really any about Four Roses.
Sure. And talked a lot about
any of our channels. Four Roses barrel strength. I don't care what you. This one's an OBSK. It could be an OESV, an OBSK. It could be anything. It could be from tier 1. It could be from, tier 6. I don't really care. The single barrel strength is just rock solid. Yeah. And it's fancy enough. It's a great looking bottle. And people are going to be impressed if you pull this out because it drinks so good.
Yeah. No, they're solid all around.
Yes.
And we're... In our area, in our part of the country, we're fairly fortunate. You can find them between store picks, group picks, and obviously distillery picks, like what you're talking about right now. We can find this on the monthly very regular and stuff like that.
Yes.
So
If you have the
I
time,
semi understand why you went with that.
if you have the time,
You
you
still
can
cheated.
get this anytime.
Yeah. Well, locally around here.
Yes,
for sure.
locally around
That's
here, for sure.
Now, let's say you don't have that same option where you can find that everywhere. I went with the Woodford Double Oak. Now, put a little thing on it. I want a store pick or a club pick of it. Add a little bit of extra to it. Add that cherry on top.
It's just a little and this one, the one that you've chosen is.
Yeah, so this is actually a backup bottle that I have for the Louisville Bourbon Club one that they did, the second one they did, the Honey Barrel. And it's fantastic. I mean, most of these bottles are really good.
Yes.
You know, most of my friends who I kind of introduce bourbon to at some point in time, I normally steer them towards a double oak at some point in time.
Yeah.
And all of them are like, holy crap, man. Like, this is like one of the first ones they have either neat or on the rocks, and they're really enjoying it. It's very sweet, a lot of chocolate. You know, it just, normally those are really good. And those store picks just take a little bit extra mile. And
add a little individuality to it.
That's
too.
true. Yeah. And there's a lot of them out there. So
Yeah.
I think unlike Dave's over here, I think you can find this one a lot more reasonably. So
You probably can. But this one will impress your guest.
oh yeah, that
For
one
sure.
impresses me.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. So the third bourbon you need, according to Reddit, is a cheap mixer.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a little redundant because
It's very redundant.
it's cool though. I chose Evan Williams Bottle and Bond. It's a good 100 proof, man. This should be a staple in everyone's bourbon.
I agree.
In everyone's bourbon repertoire because it just is, to me, the best mixing bourbon there is.
Arguably. Now,
I don't even know if it's arguably. He's going to pull something else out, but this,
if it's
Evan Williams,
I can agree with you that Evan Williams is one of the best mixing cheap mixers out there.
the best mixing.
Because I went with the 86 proofer.
So there
I think
you
it's
go.
86 proofer. Yes, the 86 proofer. It, like, literally, you can't go wrong with this. I think
No.
we've said this before. Like, the low end Evan Williams, I don't think you can beat. Between these two bottles, between the single barrels, I just don't think you can beat them.
No.
They're literally fantastic. I think you can drink both these on the rocks. I think you can drink both of them neat.
Yes.
You can drink both of them when it's hot outside, when it's cool outside, and you're not going to miss a beat.
No, not
I mean,
at all.
it is. They're both really, really great.
Really good.
He
So-
probably has the better one. If I had to pick, I would pick that one. But I'm trying to think, for friends.
Hey, listen, you got to give them options because this might be. This is a 100 proofer, so this has got a little more kick than this one does.
That's true.
So if you're not really a high proof drinker, then that 80 proofer is probably good for you. And it honestly, it is really good too as well. So
That's true.
So then the fourth category, Reddit says, is something great.
This is your Friday night bourbon. This is after a long work week, all right? Or, whenever your end of work week is. This is after
It
a
could be
long
a Wednesday
week.
night. I don't care what it is.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
You put the kids to bed. You're staying up. You're watching the game. You're like, I'm going to kick back. I'm going to have a great bourbon. I'm going to have it neat. And I'm just really going to really appreciate it and really enjoy it.
And for me, this is still my great unicorn from the year, is the Russell's 13. It is just a great bourbon all around. Just looking at this one, it's just so good.
It's great.
It is good. This is going to be, at the end of the year, this is going to be in our top 5.
Yeah. No,
I can't imagine anything getting surpassed this in the top 5. Like, if this was 5, there wouldn't be anything coming behind that, I don't think.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best new releases this year. It's definitely in contention for that. It's an awesome fruit bomb that Wild Turkey produced this year. It's just, that is truly a great bottle.
Listen, it's so good that I tried to drive an hour and a half to get it, and I missed it by like 25 minutes, and I was
in like a flood.
I was mad the whole time on the ride home. But that's what bourbon hunting is, right?
That's true. That's what bourbon hunting is. All right. So before you went into your sob story about not getting Russell's 13,
I might cry a little bit, but that's like, let's just.
my something great, and I've said this before, Stag Junior. It's one of my everyday.
Fire!
It's one of my. It's one of my bottles that I will spend good money on the secondary to make sure I have enough of to where it's on my daily drinker shelf.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. I mean, and they produce multiple batches a year, even though we're still waiting.
We're still waiting for the 16s are out there.
16s are out there. It's
I've seen people trying to sell them on the secondary.
That's true.
But again, this is one that if you,
I mean, they're
good.
literally fantastic. These bottles, I understand retail is what it is. Secondary, they weren't bad until this last batch.
No.
But normally these bottles come out and they're like a top 10 bottle every year. Some can be top 5 bottles every year. You know, they are just, you get multiple batches. And here's kind of like the secret thing that most people don't realize. They actually produce quite a bit of Stag Juniors, which sounds crazy because people are like, what do you mean? I've never gotten a Stag Junior. There's actually quite a bit of these made compared to just this Russell's 13 over here. So
this Russell's is...
Not to mention, there's 2 batches of it made every single year.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah.
Both of those.
Both great bottles.
Yeah.
Both will be at the end of the year
bottle.
kind of contention, too.
So then there is the saving a bottle for a special occasion bourbon.
I gave him the good one.
I mean, you do yours first because
all right, fine. I'll do mine first.
I mean, honestly.
Okay, so
this one's great.
Saving for a special occasion. This should be a bottle, which this is, that you just can't get a hold of. Like you can't
walk into a store and
you basically have to win this from a lottery. You have to get lucky. And
you have to go on
this is what this is
on
right
a tour.
Here. Yeah, like literally I paid for it because I got it on a tasting.
Yeah.
There was, a handful of us that were able to get it in each group. I think there was like 4 groups that went.
Yeah.
We were just fortunate. We were just lucky. Never owned one of these until this year.
And it's phenomenal. For a 80, isn't this an 80 proof?
It's like an 88.9.
89.5 proof.
89.9. Yeah. It's literally one of the best bottles I own. It is fantastic.
I'm going to take a sniff of it right now.
It is great. And this is something that you pull out, like, and you let friends drink, and you're like, holy crap. Like, you're kind of, I don't want to say you're flexing. At the same time, you're kind of flexing. With these kind of bottles here. Like, flexing. With that.
Yeah.
Now, bring in the big dog.
Honestly, the King of Kentucky is the special occasion of all special occasion.
Sure.
I guess if you had a Pappy 23,
I would take that over a Pappy 23.
I would too, but I'm just saying, like, 23.
Or not own the bottle, but I've tried it before. That smokes a Pappy 23.
This right here, there's nothing that's going to touch this at the end of the year. I can't imagine. As good as the barrel proof E.H. Taylor is.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's not touching this.
Yeah. This will be in probably our end of the year best. Both these bottles will.
Yeah.
And that bottle right there, that King Kentucky, just smokes. You could argue King Kentucky, for it being a year in, year out release, is one of the best bottles that's released every single year. And trust me, I get it. The new 2021s are getting ready to come out, and they're going to be on the secondary. They're going to be priced really dumb.
$1,500.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and predict it's gonna be $15 because that daggone single barrel of Weller is at $925 to $1,000.
Yeah. But this hits all of the notes. This drink's special. This is special. Yes. It looks great.
Yeah.
It literally has everything you want.
Promotion, birth of a child.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Inheritance.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
Honoring your mother, your father, your grandfather.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Sure. I would agree. So, and literally Dave and I were talking about this, like this bottle, he was looking at, he's like, I don't think you've drank any of it since we've reviewed it. And I'm like,
because we reviewed it.
I haven't. So this is like celebration bottle. we'll have it at the end of the year when we're celebrating at the end of the year. But
we're celebrating its victory at the end of the year.
yeah, like that's just what it is.
It is.
So
great. So here's the truth. Most of us have a collection that is more than 5 bourbons.
Yeah.
Because we have FOMO.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But the truth is, if you only had a collection of 5 bottles, you want to have 5 bottles that are kind of the way that Reddit says it. You want to have it for every opportunity and every situation, no matter what it is, to be able to offer a bourbon to somebody.
And I'm just looking at our list right now. We have really nice allocation. We have really nice just daily stuff you can find.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a really solid, I think we both did really well in the sense of you really kind of hit the criteria that, okay, you can only have 5 bottles. These are the 5 you're going to have.
Yeah. So, please tell us what we got right, what we got wrong. If you have a bottle that you think needs to be on here in one of those situations, whether it's saving for a special occasion, a cheap mixer, something great, and impress your guests, or a daily drinker. Like, let us know where you feel like we might have missed the boat, or just what yours are from that list.
Tell
of 5.
Tell us your list. Tell us what you think.
We'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, until the next time, we'll see you.
See ya.